Well, then we've got the cloister in the middle. So like I was saying about the cloister now, initially it would have been covered, but there's not much. Part of the church area. And there are two different styles. How you doing, everybody? This is just a quick insert. It was exceptionally windy today, so there was no microphone in the head cam. So all the footage that you see me going to the locations, I haven't included any voiceovers for that particular reason. It's not waterproof, so I've been using it intermittently. So keep that in mind. But it was a fabulous day. I hope you really enjoy it. Boyle Abbey is just a really fantastic place. The architecture, the history of that location, and some of the stonework and the sculptures are just fantastic. You're really going to enjoy it. And then the chieftain statue as well, which is going to be in the next video. Fabulous little spot. Got some drone footage out there as well, so really looking forward to that. But here you go. Enjoy the rest of the video. Sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to let you know what the story was with the microphone. But enjoy. I'll chat to you just now. Welcome everyone, thank you very much for joining me on today's episode. We're going to be taking a look at two sites, this being one of them. This is Boyle Abbey. It dates back to about the 13th century. It was a Cistercian monastery. And then we're going to be looking at there is a chieftain sculpture which is further towards Sligo. It's just outside Boyle, but we're going to be taking a look there. Those are our two sites we're looking at today. The monastery itself, like I said, dates back to about the 13th century. Through the Cistercians. There was a very powerful Cistercian order based at Malifont. Malifont was it's in a town called Navan. There's ruins there. That's where they were originally based from, and then they started this abbey here. The history during the dissolution of the monasteries during Henry the VIII, a lot of the monasteries were confiscated, the lands taken by the crown, and then obviously they were either kept by the crown or obviously given to other peers. So it ended up being converted into a tower house and fortified, and then later on it was used as a barracks. Here we go. This is the restored gatehouse, because obviously it was originally well, before it was restored, it was a ruin. And we come in here. Okay, here would have been the West Range apparently, so this is where the sleeping quarters would have been for the people doing the sort of menial tasks of the monastery. Then we've got a military fortification there, which was added later on, the round tower, and then a lovely chimney stack up there. And then there's a refectory over there. I'll go into a bit more detail here now. This area would have been the, as I was saying there, the kitchen. And what we do have, which is here, is 2 bread ovens. We've got one there, and there's one on the right. And I was talking about the refectory here. This is where they sat and ate. The monks. We'll make our way down. Looks great so far. And this would have been the parlour. Like the nice doorway columns, actually. You'll find in a lot of these old places they really did make an effort through a lot of their stonework that they created. This would have been the chapter house. Now, obviously, a large portion of it's actually missing. You'll see that that's all that's left of the columns. Just going back to the chapter house, which is just behind me over here. That's where the monks used to do a lot of their transactional business for the community. Was all based in that particular office. So, just to give you some feedback there, if we walk past it, that's what the chapter house was. This area here would have been known as the south transept, and there's a interleading door which comes from that area up there. That would have taken you to the choir area of the monastery, but that whole area there is now gone apparently. So there's nothing really to see other than the actual doorway. Now we move on to the chancel area. Apparently this was built pretty much when the monks arrived at the site, so probably around the 12th century. And apparently the gun-pointed chancel apparently is a character of the Cistercian abbeys. Another thing to note is that each of the transepts, which is, there's one on this side here, contains the 2 chapels, and there's also on the north transept has 2 chapels over here as well. And there is a carving actually up here called the Green Man, and it's a symbol of rebirth, which is located right up there. Let's see if we can get a closer look. Contrary to normal Cistercian practice was the addition of a tower, which is just up here. And normally you'd see the towers in about 15th century. This one here dates from as early as the 1300s. Initially they were forbidden to add towers, mainly because of the simplicity of the order. So it must have been seen as a symbol of power to have these towers attached to churches. Sorry, how you doing everyone? We're going to be moving into the nave now. This is the main part of the church area, and there are 2 different styles in this particular nave. We've got Romanesque on the left hand side here with more sort of rounded arches, and then you've got the more pointed kind of Gothic style here on the right hand side. Now what they're saying is that there is a transitional period between Romanesque style and Gothic style, and this is the difference between the 2. So you've got the Romanesque on the left and the sort of Gothic traditional on the right. Now apparently the difference in the years isn't much. It's probably about 10 or 20 years difference between the 2, but it's amazing the transitional period between the 2 can be clearly seen here, and it's only 10-20 years. So we can see here we've got our cylindrical arches, rounded, square bases. an octagonal, they call that a capital, that section there that sort of holds the wall. Lovely decorative carved. And then on the Gothic style you've got kind of shafts. You've got the pointed, the shafts running down here, and then the pointed bases. And then likewise the arches are kind of pointed as well. There's an interesting carving just up here now. I'm going to zoom in so you can have a proper look, and apparently that is in reference to probably St. John's Gospel, and its depiction of men sort of holding on to trees and vines is in relation to a passage in that Gospel, but very nicely detailed. There are various different carvings on majority of these capitals all the way down, so each depicting, I suppose, some kind of story when they were being carved. So it's interesting to see. We've got different versions all the way up here, coming round. They're quite similar. You've got these big octagonal bases there, all the way around. There's another one up there. I was just looking for one of the staircases, and there's a spiral stone staircase. Unfortunately you cannot get into it, but because there doesn't appear to be any staircases that I've seen that have survived, but there's a typical example of one. It doesn't look like anyone's been in there for some time either. There was an excavation done in 2006, and they found some remains in this area of the church. We're going to take a quick look. Here it is. So it was between 2006 and 2012, and what they think is this was a sort of a rubbish pit. So that door would have led into the north transept, and these are the bones that they found. Apparently, it was one of the burials just under the floors. It says there were 2 pits dug into the floor after the church went out of use, and mainly contained animal bone fragments. The pits may have been served as repositories for refuse during the late occupation of the abbey. Also, during the 2006 excavations, apparently they found an old drain which apparently runs underneath the church and actually through the cloister and out through one of the other walls. Now, apparently they were obviously very good at their planning of their building. So during times of flooding, they reckon that drain there was probably placed to help alleviate the water during obviously periods of heavy rain. So it's interesting that they would have thought about that even when they were building this place. Well, again, ready to finish up here. I hope you enjoyed having a look at Boyle Abbey. Be sure to come and check it out for yourself when you're in the area. There's a number of sites that we're going to be taking a look at around the Boyle area in time. This is our first ruin site video for the channel as well, so which is fantastic. But thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye for now.